I'm going to hit record now so that the families who are not able to join us can still catch up on all the information. The chat should be set up so that it can only go directly to Kim and I. If at any point you have any questions about things that we're talking about, things we may not cover tonight, please feel free to just shoot us a message in the chat. One of us will get back to you as soon as possible. And if we think it's something that maybe a few other people are asking or we want to touch on as an entire group, then we may hold off for the end and we'll do a little Q&A at that point. So we appreciate your patience, and we just ask that everybody stay muted so that everyone can hear the same information and no one's missing anything really important. The first slide that you can see in front of
Dani?
So we are.
Miss Daniel, I think you muted yourself.
Yeah, we can't hear you.
There you go.
I keep on doing it and something.
No, because I was trying to unmute you at the same time you were unmuting, so we kept doing the opposite. I'm so sorry. Every time I hit mute all, it mutes you too. Is there a way to turn that off?
I don't think so.
Okay, I won't mute all anymore.
But we hope that you will join us on Friday, August 26th. That is our first Friday of school. We begin on Wednesday, the 24th. And so school will be closing at 5 o'clock that day. Perfect time if you're signed up for late stay till 5:30. You can just keep your child there until 5 o'clock, pick them up and head right over to the Shapiro Aquatics Park. We will have pizza dinner sponsored by our family association and challah and grape juice, and we can't wait to celebrate with all of you. Obviously, you're all here tonight for our parent orientation. We're really looking forward to a wonderful year ahead. I hope that those of you that have already registered for our program are familiar with our vision. It's listed here, it's on our website, it's within the halls of our school, and really intentionally embodies our classrooms and our philosophy and the way that we interact with the children, intentionally embodies every aspect of our vision. We wanted to give you a little bit of information about who's who in the ELC. If I have not had the opportunity to meet you yet, especially face-to-face, I am so looking forward to being able to do that at the start of the school year. I am Dani Fry. I'm the director of the Stoller Early Learning Center. Kim Davidson is our incredible assistant director. She's also the director of Noah's Ark Camp, and she's done an incredible job this summer wrapping up our 8th week of camp this week. Mary Ida is our administrative assistant. You guys have probably been sending her lots of paperwork, and she's doing her very best to stay on top of it. If you have not had the opportunity to send everything her way yet, please make sure to do that as soon as possible. Your child will not be able to begin school until we've had plenty of time to be able to process all of their medical paperwork and their information sheets and order their pizza and challah and everything like that.
Hi, everybody. We work very closely together. I'm so sorry. We're not seeing what you're sharing. Thumbs up if you see who's who in the ELC on the big screen. Anyone? Everyone still sees the original swim invitation?
Yeah, the pool party.
I just walked into Dani's office. She's on the correct slide. Why we're not seeing it, I don't know. So just give us 1 second. Stop share. Did it change?
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. I appreciate your patience. If it doesn't move with the next one, let me know. We are really excited to be able to offer two additional support positions this coming school year. Jillian Miller, who's the assistant director of our Noah's Ark program, will be coming on as our ELC program coordinator. She is going to be able to help run some incredible family engagement events that we're really excited to get going again within the preschool. It's been a little bit of a pause on some of these events that we think really, fill us with pride and joy and make us who we are and set us apart from some of the many programs that you were able to choose from. And so we're excited to be able to bring those back. And then Shayna Grunner is our Judaics Curriculum and Program Coordinator as well. And you will get to know both of them very well. And you will be in awe of them almost as much as we are on a daily basis. Nurse Mindy and Nurse Laurie are two of our wonderful nurses. They will also be supported by Howie. Our nurses are here every day from 8:15 to 1:15 throughout the school year. So if you have any questions, are always available. Their fax number and Email and phone number are listed right here. It will also be in the family guide. Deshaun Folks, for those of you who knew Ellen, has taken over our finance and billing department for Ellen. Unfortunately, she retired a couple weeks ago, but we're excited to have him on our team as well. And then Ken Karsh is our CFO. And of course, if you have any questions that you want to reach out to membership for, their direct line and email is listed there as well. Cross your fingers, this will change. Did that go?
Yes, hours of operation.
Thank you very much. Hopefully you all know what you've signed up for. Our infant program is 5 days a week, 7:30 to 5:30 for all of our enrollments. Both preschool and kindergarten have a base program of 9 o'clock to 3:30 with the options to add on to your earlier hours in the day from 7:30 to 9 or 8 to 9, and then to extend your afternoon hours to 3:30 to 4:30 or 3:30 to 5:30. If you have any questions about enrollment, you think you need to make any changes, again, please don't hesitate to reach out. It is really important that you know that if you did not enroll for 5 days a week, your days are non-transferable. So if you were to go on vacation, if you kept your child home for any given reason, you can't just say, hey, they stayed home on Tuesday, we're going to send them Wednesday instead. If you would like to add an additional day of care in addition to the program that you're registered for, it would be $180 to cover that 7:30 to 5:30 full day enrollment. And then adding on extended hours in early or late stay is available for $40 an hour if we know in advance, and $50 an hour with less than 24 hours notice. It is really important that you do speak to somebody on our leadership team about adding any of those on, especially in our younger classes. We have such strict teacher to student ratios that we want to make sure that it's available before you think you can just kind of come in and do that. But we do understand that there are extenuating circumstances and sometimes you need a little bit of extra time or leeway on either end. If your pickup time does strictly correlate to what you're registered for. So if you're registered at 5:30, any amount of time after 5:30 is a $2 a minute late fee. If you're registered until 3:30, once carpool ends, that late fee does start to add up. And at 4:30, that same thing will have that late fee. Prior to, you can't just drop off and pay per minute. That would be that adding that $40 or $50 for the hour. We do request that regardless of what time you're signed up for, everybody really should arrive by 9:10 a.m. That really gives children the opportunity to engage and get settled and adjust to their school day. So that they're ready to either join in whatever special they may have at 9:15 that morning, or their morning meeting, or the structure and routine of the school day. Again, we know that sometimes doctor's appointments and things like that come up. It's important to know that after 11:45 a.m., we do not take late drop-off. So you really want to make sure that for your child's sake and that consistency and structure and routine, they're really here as early as possible. Our enrollment dates can get a little tricky sometimes. People have a lot of questions about them. Your contract that you registered with is a 12-month contract from August through August. This year, our 10-month school year will run from Wednesday, August 24th through Tuesday, June 13th. Automatically, all of the students enrolled in school will transition directly into Noah's Ark. So our school year ends on a Tuesday, Noah's Ark will start that Monday, and we will have a fun summer of camp. If you haven't participated in Noah's Ark yet, you've got plenty of time to learn about how incredible it is. And the main thing to realize is you don't have to reapply for it. However, if for whatever reason you did want to unenroll or change your enrollment, we do need adequate notice of things of that. We do require all year long 60 days of written notice for any transitions or changes. When we talk about our curriculum and learning at school, we know that the best way to help children succeed is to teach them to be creative, resilient, innovative, and confident thinkers. Again, that's a part of our belief system here. And you can see that in the way that our teachers interact with children, the provocations and invitations they create to help them learn, to instill or to motivate them to dig deeper and delve deeper into their interest in what they're learning about. It is a developmental program, so we do follow developmental milestones. We do move children up in their age group based on that, especially more so an infant toddler, or split children based on how they're doing and what we see they're interested in. We really work on fostering communication skills, higher level thinking skills, and believe in a comprehensive child-centered approach to learning. We focus on exploration and discovery throughout all of the open-ended activities we provide the children. And then our Jewish culture and values are integrated throughout everything that we do here at the J. And again, and I'm sure you've heard me say this on tours, but our Jewish values are really character education values that everybody of any age, race, background, or religion would want their children to grow up with. The lessons, and we'll talk a little bit more about this when we get into like the flow of the day, but the lessons that the teachers are going to do with the children really follow the needs and the interests of the students and create opportunities for social interaction, physical activity, creative expression. And we really want to promote their independence and also help make sure that they're ready to collaborate and able to problem solve and work through things together as a social endeavor. During their time here with us. Kim, you want to take a shot?
Of course. So when we design our classrooms and get ready for the school year, it is with great intention. It is with the intention that children are coming in with these creative, wonderful minds and understand that they want to take ownership in the classroom. And part of that means having the ability to make the classroom what they feel is comfortable and inviting to them. So, and along with that comes very clearly defined centers, because we have learned that best practices for preschool is that children absolutely learn best while involved in play and involved in something that they're interested in. So throughout the day, the children will have the opportunity to just inquire and be inspired by all of our different centers, construction areas, math centers, literacy and writing centers. Every classroom will have a library corner and an art center. There's always paint on the easel, dramatic play, science and discovery and nature investigation. And these materials are just continuing to change throughout the year. Music and movement, and always a cool down corner. We certainly understand that preschoolers are learning how to handle their strong emotions, and we want them to understand that it is absolutely okay to feel those big emotions, whether it's frustrated or angry or overly excited. And in the cool down corner, they can learn how to self-regulate and appropriately share those emotions with the people around them. All of these things are teaching opportunities in all of these areas. When the children are engaged in the area that they're most interested in, a teacher can come over and work with a child individually or in a small group to teach any concept that they feel that child still needs to learn, whether it's color identification or counting through 10. It doesn't matter whether you teach a child how to count with blocks or with paintbrushes. It's just more effective when it is based on what a child's interest is. Our educators strive to create an environment that just cultivates that innovation, that engages children, that inspires children. And it really helps children develop their own theories and to construct their own ideas based on the materials that are in the classroom. It's just an awesome program. Our classrooms are beautiful, and we've already had great inspirational items in all the classrooms, and we ordered even more open-ended things to include in all the classrooms.
Thanks.
Sure.
We call upon our Jewish values as we reflect on the sacred work that we do with the children every day. The lenses that help guide our decision-making and our practices include Masa, which is journey, Brit, which is a covenant. You read through some of our philosophy and beliefs in the form packet, and you signed off on that covenant that you were going to uphold your end of this partnership to help ensure that we have the most promising and successful experience for your little ones while they're here at the J. B'Tselem Elohim, we celebrate the dignity and potential of everyone, that everyone was made in the divine image, and what makes all of us unique and special, and also what do we overlap in? What commonalities do we have and similarities? Hiturarot, which is awakening. We are always looking with awe and amazement and wonder at the world around us. And when you use that lens, it's really easy to, spark that curiosity in the children and to watch them, either try something new and or use something in a different way. And it's really incredible. Kedusha is holiness, Drash is interpretation, and then Tikkun Olam, repairing the world. And you'll hear about some of the programs and specials that we have here at the J that really help reinforce a lot of these concepts with the children on a daily basis. Our educators see themselves as facilitators. They are lifelong learners. They have a very high image of children as capable and competent, and they are here to help guide them in their journey rather than be frontal teachers. They want to partner with the children in their experiences and their research and come up with a hypothesis and conduct an experiment to find out the answer and learn something new. They also want to partner with all of you. They're here to provoke these ideas and wonder and problem-solving techniques within all the children. They want to listen to their ideas and help build on them further. And they are going to organize the classroom in a way that really makes sense to them. Kim talked about some of the centers that you're innately going to see in all of our rooms, but they're going to look different and be really flexible and ebb and flow based on what the children are interested in and where their explorations take them at any given time of the year. So you'll see a lot of the manipulatives will change. The decor of the room may change, the materials that are available, and everything like that. And of course, there's you guys, and Rabbi Samson Raphael Hirsch had said that the home can do little without the school, but the school can do nothing without the home. I was recently in a conversation with someone who kind of challenged our slogan, which for the past couple of years has been learning starts here. And then we simultaneously say to families, you're their first teacher, and we want to continue to build upon the learning that starts at home with you. So we know that we can't do anything here without you guys as our partners and support system. We want you to be open and understanding of our approach and our philosophy. And by doing things like attending this back to school, this orientation, or coming to back to school night in the fall, parent teacher conferences in January, and staying up to date on all of the emails that you'll receive from our administrative team, or the Bright Wheel messages and newsletters that the teachers will be sending, being active participants in all of the experiences, however these celebrations and experiences go throughout the year, really makes you valued partners and allows us to learn just as much from you as we are learning. We can learn just as much from you as we're learning from your children. This year, we are really excited to be able to bring back our family association, previously known as our parents association. Unfortunately, with COVID, that was something that certainly declined in terms of participation and involvement and engagement. And along with our holiday celebrations and our classroom milestones and events throughout the year as we mark time, this is one of the things that we're so excited to bring back this year. Aligned with the educational philosophy and values of our ELC, our family association is going to work with school leadership to help enhance the experience that all of your children have while they're here at the J through fundraising, family engagement, and community outreach. We really hope that you guys will join us. We tend to strive to have meetings every 4 to 6 weeks. Prior to COVID, they were in person. During COVID, when we had them around Teacher Appreciation, they were all virtual. And I think we may come up with a little bit of this hybrid method this year to see what works best. And we hope that you'll participate as you can and reach out, read notes, things like that if you can't be there, and weigh in on what you think works best and everything, and what you're most looking forward to. Kim? Oh, you're muted. We are great with technology today.
I know, it's a good thing we are so great with children because neither one of us would survive in the tech world. But our days, throughout our days, we do have like a daily schedule. We certainly understand that each classroom gets to know their own students, and the rhythm of the individual class community will determine a lot of the way that their day flows. So we say that we are a structured program, yet very flexible. Children do thrive on structure and reliability and knowing what's to come next, but at the same time, it may take them a little bit longer to get through one project, and it really does upset children when they work so hard and all of a sudden you say to them, oh, time to go outside or time to clean up for snack. So we certainly understand that and let our program also be flexible. It also provides for a variety of experience and levels of difficulty. One of the things that I am so proud of is the way that our educators really learn each child as an individual. And what we always tell parents is that no matter where your child is coming to us, at whatever level that is, they're going to lead us at that, more advanced than they came to us, because we will get to know that child and know where they have started and make sure that they get to that next step. So we really do individualize instruction. So much of the learning happens in small groups. Many of the learning happens in collaboration with their peers and with their teachers. And it's always great when the whole class can participate in an activity together. Understanding that different things are learned in these different kind of settings, and understanding that each child learns differently, so that maybe a child can learn very easily in front of the whole class with everyone speaking and joining in, where other children's personalities means they need to be in a small group where it's not as much going on around them. We take all of that into consideration in our daily schedule. We really do balance indoor and outdoor activities and active and calm activities. Children do sometimes just need to get the sillies out and run off some of the steam, and we're very much in tune with our class to know when that time is needed. So again, like recess, for lack of a better word, outdoor exploration absolutely occurs throughout the day, but there are times where you know that the child's just not able to sit through a story and it's time to, you know, go outside, jump around, dance, sing, all those kinds of things. We are really, really grateful to have special classes that allow the children to explore the arts and their physical activity and nature. And it really is a nice combination between the child-led activities, child's ideas, and teacher-guided activities, so that we ensure that the children are getting the information and the material for their future, for the next age level, so that we are constantly building on their prior knowledge. I'll keep going. Oh, do you want to? So the power of center exploration, we were talking a little bit before how the classrooms are set up into these different centers. It's really, really, truly amazing to see how much children learn from participating in these activities. It really encourages social interaction between peers and adults. This is where children learn to share. This is where children learn to speak up and say, I had it first, you can have a turn when I'm done. It's where time management and appropriate academics just happen naturally, along with that teacher with little questions in the background to deepen that learning, to increase a child's awareness of what's going on. If they're building with blocks and all of a sudden a block's balances in an unusual way, they may not even be noticing, but a teacher can, look what that's doing. I wonder why it's doing that. I wonder if it's because there's equal weights on both sides. Just things to deepen the understanding. We always display materials related to learning at hand, so that, for example, if a classroom all of a sudden just becomes, they see a rainbow and they become, you know, invested to learn more about rainbows and stuff like that, you'll see that that classroom transforms all of their centers to go along with that overarching theme. So you'll see books about rainbows. You might see rainbow colored blocks in the building center. Whatever we can do to make that child more invested in their learning, we certainly understand is important.
We believe in gross motor and outdoor play being a really imperative part of the school day. As Kim was talking about, the children certainly need to be able to move their bodies, to explore with their surroundings, to take risks and, you know, learn how to problem solve when they've got problems that they may not be able to overcome with climbing structures or balancing and these gross motor skills. We really do our best to take that creative, you know, free play recess kind of experience and combine it with both outdoor exploration and this gross motor time. They say that children need about 30 minutes to truly engage in cooperative play with each other, and we certainly don't want to get to that 30-minute mark. Let them get really creative and innovative and then stop immediately. And so we try to allow our classes throughout the school year to spend 45 minutes outside each morning and each afternoon. We ask that you dress them appropriately. We always say germs don't grow on raindrops, and there's no such thing as bad weather, just bad clothing. So you have the heads up now that we are going to go outside regularly, and it's really a wonderful natural sensory experience for them to go out there, whether it's wind or rain or heat. Again, obviously, we're going to take precautions. We're going to bring water with us on hot days. We won't go outside in thunder and lightning or if it's snowing too hard. But in general, rain and snow will not keep us indoors. It allows the children to socialize with each other. It's a really great opportunity for the teachers to either join in the children's creative play or to observe and kind of use the conversations and interactions that they're overhearing and seeing to inform the practice that they're going to do throughout the remainder of the week or anything like that. In terms of outside spaces, we are so grateful to be at such an incredible campus here at the J. We have 3 amazing playgrounds, our natural playground, which is outside our 2-year-old classrooms, to the universal playground at the end of our 3-year-old hallway. Our 4-year-olds, it's a big coming of age activity when the last 3-year-old in the class turns 4, and they get to go to the biblical playground. We also get to use our courtyards, the natural courtyard, universal courtyard, the library courtyard. We're very creative in our names. And our tennis courts, there's a great hill on the side of the tennis courts that the children love to roll down and climb up again. And then we have a hockey rink. And while we do not play hockey with the kids, we do have a shed down there with tricycles. We also have a wonderful trail that leads all the way from one end of the tennis courts in the biblical to the athletic fields on the other end of the J. And if you ever need a place to go sledding, the athletic fields are a wonderful place to bring a sled. So there is no shortage of space here at the J. And we talked about these messy experiences a little bit when I was talking about the weather. This sensory exploration is so important to children and their development. And so it's really important that you dress them appropriately. Please, please, please don't tell us that like you sent them in I'll refer to a child I used to know really well back in New York at my J. They'd say, well, she wore a white tennis dress that was Tommy Hilfiger and it came home with paint on it. And she was also 18 months old. She should come home with paint on it. So please think about things like that when you're buying your children's clothes, when you're doing back to school shopping. Hand-me-downs are wonderful, and clothes that either wash well or that you're just not going to be super upset if they get messy is a really important aspect of how to survive in preschool. Again, a variety of different weather-related clothing is great to keep here. If you were one of the first 100 children that registered for school this year, you do have a bucket hat. If you haven't gotten it yet, it should be in the mail on the way to your house. So find a way to label it so that stays on, because there will be probably a lot of them floating around this fall, and that'll be a great one to keep in their cubby. Our 3s and up will be doing swimming lessons throughout the school year. They won't start until October after the Jewish holidays, and they'll go right up until the middle of December when we do our 8 45-minute lessons in the fall and 8 45-minute lessons in the spring. On those days, you'll need to send a bathing suit underneath their clothing. And again, if they're going to be swimming and you're worried about it, you can always send in a spare bathing suit to keep with them. You want to make sure you've got plenty of underwear in their cubbies and all this weather-related clothing, so that even when they're cold in the classroom or hot in the classroom, regulating their own temperature and figuring out what they need to do to make themselves more comfortable is a huge life skill. So if they can keep a sweater at school, they'll be prepared for any kind of weather. I also want to point out the little girl in the corner is Mabel's Labels. We do have a fundraiser through our family association. So if you are looking for something that can iron on or stick on and is proven to be long lasting, please check out Mabel's Labels and just make sure you put the JCC in so that we can benefit from that sale with a portion that will directly help the portion of the proceeds will directly help the children in our program here. Some of the things that I love to brag about that I think really set us apart from other programs is that we always have an armed security guard on duty at all times. If you have any questions about our security protocols or the different things that we're doing to ensure that our campus stays safe, please never hesitate to ask. If it's something that Kim and I don't have an answer to, we are happy to hand you off to the right person who would. We do offer these Red Cross instructional swimming lessons upstairs, again, in our indoor pool throughout the school year for our 3-year-olds all the way through our K at the J kindergartners. And in the summertime, you'll see next year that they get 4 days a week of 30-minute swim lessons outside in the aquatics park, as well as the opportunity to explore on the splash pad or spray ground. We have a healthy choices and nutrition program, physical education with a gym teacher upstairs in a full-size gymnasium. We teach reading and math readiness skills, language development and early literacy, science and nature, gardening. We have incredible Jewish programming you'll hear more about shortly. We have 2 incredible kitchens that our family association redid for us right before COVID. So we're excited to use that a little bit more than we have in the past few years as well. Our in music education, our 3s and up will go on field trips. We have great indoor gross motor play spaces for those days when there is inclement weather that will inhibit their ability to be outside very long. I talked about those 3 amazing playgrounds, our incredible nurses who are here to support you and the children with anything you may need. J Kids afternoon enrichment classes if your child is interested in dance or acting or tennis or soccer shots, and lots of other opportunities as well. You do get JCC family membership. Please make sure you see the email that I sent today with all the information on how to make sure you are set up for the first day so you don't have any problems accessing the ELC when you arrive. And then we use Brightwheel as our parent communication portal, and we have a brand new J Life platform we're excited to tell you about. Kim? Oops, you're muted again.
We were talking a little bit before about specials, and here it is in a little bit more detail. On Monday mornings, we welcome in the week with a Havdalah service. Havdalah is celebrated as Shabbat is over, typically, but because Monday is the beginning of our week, it is just a way for us to welcome a new week with love, kindness in our hearts, and it really just is a special bonding moment between students and teachers. The next one was music and movement. We make sure that children understand that both of these things are a way of an art form. It's a way of expressing themselves. It's a way of, sometimes some children use it as a way to self-regulate, that it's just an important part of our day. A lot of children learn better when it's put to music. So it's just something that we know works with children, and something that you will always hear throughout the classrooms and see the children just dancing up a storm. Like Dani was saying before, our Healthy Choices program is truly something that we are very proud of. It really just sets the tone for children to make healthy choices and lifestyle choices from the time that they're small, when they're taught these things about exercise and being self-aware and eating healthy and drinking water. It just becomes part of who they are, and it doesn't become a struggle later in life for them. I know growing up that I always wanted the candy. No one was teaching me at 2 years old that it's a sometimes food, that, it's okay to have it sometimes, but that there's healthier options and that's better for my body. Gym goes along with Healthy Choices. It's really just getting our children active. It's teaching them basic skills, from everything from kicking a ball to throwing a ball, to team support, to understanding that not every time do you get to win, understanding what it's like with sportsmanship. It's truly amazing, and it is taught by a certified gym teacher. Our Farm to Forest program is very special. Everything is very special. I'm very much invested in the J, if you don't know that already about me, and it prides me to talk about our programs. Farm and Forest is rather new. We've formed a partnership with Pearlstone. Those of you who don't know, Pearlstone is an amazing, amazing program that really brings Judaism and nature into one, and it signifies so many of the Jewish values through exploration of the world around us. So they actually come visit our children. They will take them on the trails. They'll take them into our garden. They will connect the Jewish value with the world around them. Children will be hiking with them constantly. So again, Dani's mentioned, make sure they're wearing proper clothing, proper shoes. The kids get messy. It is amazing that our children have the ability to swim throughout the year. So many young children's families want them to have that swim instruction just to be safer around the pool, and you get that just being part of our program. Over the summer when we swim every day and I walk around and see these children that are literally making it from one side of the pool to the other at the age of 3 and 4, it just shows that early learning these skills early just really helps it become natural for children. We are very grateful to also have Shinshanim. Shinshanim are 2 Israelis who have recently graduated high school, who come to, do they recently graduate high school, Dani, or are they recently out of the Army?
No, it's a gap year before the IDF.
It's the gap year before the Army. And they come and they just work with our children and teach them about different cultures, and children really get an understanding of the world is just not right here around us, that the world really is a much bigger organization, and that it is our responsibility to look out for others and to understand different cultures, and a matter of respecting other cultures and learning about the similarities and differences. And the Shinshanim always build these incredibly strong bonds with the children, and it's just beautiful to watch that relationship develop. On Fridays, it's my favorite time when we get together school-wide to sing and celebrate Shabbat. It's just bringing the week to a close, rejoicing in the blessings that were given to us all week long. We get silly and sing funny songs like the dinosaur visits for Shabbat and happy songs. And it's just a really special activity. And the children all love to go back to their classrooms and enjoy Friday snack, which is always challah and grape juice to represent the wine. And it's just a time for the class to unwind and really reflect.
These are just some of the educational goals of our program, and I think we've kind of talked about them as we've gone through. You will see in your family guide when you receive that, again, hopefully tomorrow, that these are kind of delved into much deeper, and it should answer any questions that you may have about the different kinds of topics and how we address them through our child-centered classrooms. Holiday celebrations are something that are really important to point out, and you'll hear a lot about them throughout the school year. We expose the children to all of the Jewish and secular holidays here at the J. The culture and traditions that come along with the Jewish holidays are something that I think are so special for our families and our children to be able to learn about. And if you don't identify as Jewish, or it's new to you, or you're not observant, don't ever hesitate to ask a question. We love learning alongside the children, and we want you to be able to do the same thing. But diversity is a very important value in our school. We respect all the different cultures and religions and life choices that exist in our community. And we're always excited to hear about the different family traditions and rituals that make each of your children unique and your family so special. But it's also important to note that we do not celebrate holidays that are specifically not part of the Jewish religion. That includes Halloween, Valentine's Day, Christmas. Those are some big ones. We also don't celebrate Mother's Day and Father's Day. It's really hard. We've been struggling for the past couple of years and kind of playing this like philosophical tug of war with how we can acknowledge the people that mean the most to us in our lives without segregating some families that either that may not look like a traditional family. And so we focus throughout the year at many different times and opportunities about those that take care of us and how they make us feel, and who comforts us when we're sad, and who, you know, is always there to support you and your biggest cheerleader and things like that. And those are usually family members and sometimes other people as well. And will hopefully be a lot of opportunities for you guys to come in and be celebrated and join in our celebrations. Just please don't expect that to happen on the Friday before Mother's Day or Father's Day. We, again, really love celebrating our community and each of the children, and we love celebrating birthdays. However, it's also important to note that we do have a no food policy when it comes to celebrating birthdays and most holidays and things like that, unless it is a traditional food that is ingrained in that holiday. For example, our classes may make latkes or sufganiyot, which are fried jelly donuts, because those fried potato pancakes and jelly donuts were made in oil. And there's in December, we celebrate Hanukkah and the miracle of the oil that lasted 8 nights when it was really only enough to last 1 night. So there are foods in connection to those holidays that we will celebrate, but in terms of families and celebrating birthdays, we do not have families send any food in that your child is not eating directly. Again, connecting back to like healthy choices, we do talk about how it's okay to celebrate a birthday, to have a donut or a munchkin or a cupcake in limits and for special occasions. But we really like to think a little bit outside of the box and think about who the individual child is when we're getting ready to celebrate their birthday. They will get a crown. We will dance and sing and celebrate them. Usually the children will make some kind of gift or acknowledgement for the birthday child. Often you'll see those displayed throughout the classroom throughout the entire year. And after their birthday, you get to look back at all the memories that their friends have made for them. And then you'll get to take that home as a keepsake at the end of the year. It's just important to think about ways that you may want to come in and read a story or do a dance party. Many parents, when families weren't able to come in during COVID, were sending in crafts for the class to do, things like that. Again, we're happy to team up with you and talk about all the different options that exist. We just want you to know that food is not one of them. I'm going to call somebody out on the Zoom who's probably not expecting this, but Rabbi Ariel, would you unmute yourself and say hello really fast?
Hi, everyone. I'm Rabbi Ariel.
I'm sorry to put you on the spot like that.
It's all good.
Ariel has held many different roles here at the J over the past decade, I would say. And this year she's got 2 new exciting roles. She has 2 children who will be joining us in the preschool. And she is also what is temporarily at least called the director of our J Life platform. And we're really excited for the J to unveil this new program. It kind of aligns with it does align with the values of not only the ELC, but all of the different departments within the J. And its focus is going to be on engaging, educating, and empowering all the families at the J by building community through joyful Jewish expression and informal experiential learning. By providing relevant and dynamic programming focused on the holidays and the values that we're learning about here at school. So what a better way to join your children on their journeys than to be able to join them on for Shabbat on the playground, or a big Hanukkah show or something like that. There are going to be 2 different kind of core events. Some of them will be specifically for the families here in the Stoller ELC, and others may be JCC community public events. Within the preschool, they will, while Rabbi Ariel will definitely have a presence in our programming that does happen during the day. Maybe she'll pop up for Shabbats or Havdalas or to blow the shofar throughout the month of late September and early October. But she will also be leading micro community events that you may have noticed on the calendar for different age groups that may meet on Shabbat to discuss the holiday, getting to know your child and their friends, your child's friends, sorry, and their families, or maybe some school-wide play dates with a little bit of a Jewish twist as the year goes on. And then in terms of the J or community events, you can get into the holiday spirit with either babies, books, and bagels or hands-on holidays. Both of those are free events geared for young children. Babies, books, and bagels is a little bit younger. That's like the 0 to 3 with PJ Library. And hands-on holidays is a little bit older. So while everyone under 5 is welcome, you might want to think of it as like a 3 to 5 range. And then there'll be some big wow events. We have a huge Sukkot event that's already in the works for Thursday, October 13th, and we hope to see you there. And then some Tat Shabbats and other events that you'll hear about throughout the year. And we'll obviously be advertising on our social media page and my newsletters. And hopefully when the teachers are coming, it'll be in theirs as well. And we really just want to get these relationships going so that everyone can get the most out of our program here. I'm going to let Kim do this one because she has about 19 years of 2-year-old experience, and they often have the hardest time with transition.
It's not the kids that have an awful time with the transition. It's the parents that have an awful time with the transition.
The parents saying goodbye to their 2-year-old for the first time.
Believe me, I get it. Leaving my child for the first time here was heartbreaking. You know, I didn't think my child was going to be able to survive without me. I was the only thing that my child knew for the first 2 years of their life. But what I can tell you is that there is no better place than the JCC Early Learning Center. And I can promise you that we treat your children with love, compassion, and kindness when you are not with us. And that it can look very, very terrible when a child is clawing at you, don't leave me, and we are literally pulling their fingers off of you and taking them from you, like a parent's worst nightmare. But what I can promise you is that we will reach out 5 minutes later when your child is happily playing while we're blowing bubbles and reading a book. It is scary for children to leave their parents for the first time. It is scary for children who need to transition into a new classroom with new friends, with new teachers. But from my many, many years of experience, the worst thing that we can do for our children is to send them a message with our actions or with the way that we feel. If we are apprehensive, if we are nervous, if we are scared, our children know us so well, they will feed off of that, and those anxieties will be transferred basically to them. So you want to, first of all, make sure that when you talk about school, you're talking about it in a positive, fun discussion. You can talk about, even if you had the worst preschool experience ever, you talk about how much fun you had when you were in preschool and you made so many new friends. And you can even share little things like, I was really a little bit nervous on my first day, I didn't know what it was going to be like, but then I realized there were so many toys to play with, so that you're really talking on the child's level and relating to them. The old director that was here for many years, I've been here forever, used to tell parents, like, you're talking on the phone, you're talking to your mother and you're saying, I can't believe my baby's going to school. So if your baby's overhearing that, it sounds like, oh no, you're crying to your mother out of like just the fact that your child's old enough, but your child's internalizing is that, why is she crying to grandma? Where is she sending me? She's so worried. So it's like all those little things that you just don't think about, but that you're sending your child a message. You want to tell them that you're jealous that you have to go to work and you wish you could go to preschool too. And one of the best things to understand is that when you have decided it is time to drop my child off, no matter what that looks like, it's time to drop your child off. We will be there to happily hug your child, remove them physically from you, carry them in the building, kicking and screaming. This is what it can look like. Other children would be like, see ya, bye mom, bye dad, I'm out the door, bye grandma. And some children will really feel panicked and have that difficult transition. I promise you, if you are consistent, if your attitude remains consistent, if you consistently drop them off in the same manner day after day, they will quickly learn that we are here to love them, support them, respect them, listen to them when you're not, and that you would never leave them in an environment that wasn't safe and responsible. And that message will become clear. And as soon as children are comfortable in this new environment, that is when everything just is nurtured and they start growing in ways that you can't even imagine. So you have my office to come into and cry after you happily drop off your children on the first day of school. Every year I have crying mothers. It's natural. You're letting go of your children. You're leaving them. You're always taught, don't leave children with strangers. If you're new to the program, I mean, our reputation speaks very highly of us, but we are strangers. So I get it. It's difficult. Feel free to share those emotions with us. Just do your best to hide them from your children. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. Another great tip is that a lot of families will develop like rituals of how to say goodbye. So the child might want to give you 2 kisses and 1 hug. A lot of kids like to push their parents out the door where it's like one final bye. And the parent like flies 2 steps and goes off to work. It's all different things that work for different families. And we are certainly here to help you figure out what works for you and are here to get you through the transition. But I promise you it's harder for you usually than it is for the students.
Always. I was
Always.
laughing as you were talking about that, just seeing some of the names of the parents that are on this call right now. Maybe one year we should have like a panel where people can talk about some of their horror stories, whether you conquered them last year with one child and this summer with another child, or this summer for the very first time saying goodbye to your 2-year-old. You have all lived to tell the tale, and you will be able to join us and comfort some of the newbies on the first day. And soon enough, they're going to be crying at the end of the day. And that is my favorite part. They don't want to go home with you guys. No offense. I just love it when they want to stay here. We place such a high value on open and direct, honest, transparent communication. We are going to do our very best to make sure that we are constantly giving you that respect, and we hope that you'll do it in return as well. I'm going to call you out on that one. Ayala just said that her son, who started here this summer, says every day that he wants to stay at the JCC when she picks him up. That makes my heart happy. We love having him here. And we do truly believe that the success of your experience and your child's experience here is going to be based on the partnership that we're able to create with each other. So please don't be a passerby. Stop by the office, in the lobby, reach out when we're in the hallway. When you've got a question, you can email or call. Again, full transparency. While you can always reach Mary Ida at the front desk, Kim and I really do try to spend as much time as possible in the classrooms, getting to know the children, supporting both the children and the teachers. And so email is definitely the fastest way to get to us. So if you've emailed me in the past 2 days, I hope that you know that I've been working on this and the family guide, and we've been wrapping up an incredible 8 weeks of camp, and we will get back to you as soon as we can if we have not already. On Brightwheel, I'm going to take this opportunity to tell you they have a new feature that came out this summer. There are 2 opportunities, and I'm not actually necessarily aware of what they look like on your end. When you go to message somebody on the Brightwheel app, you can message the class, which many people think other parents will see. They will not. Or you can message the administrative team. If you choose to message the class, your child's direct teachers and any floaters assigned to that classroom can see the messages in addition to the administrative team. If you only choose to message the administrative team, the only people who are able to see it are going to be myself, Kim, Mary Ida, our administrative assistant, and then Jillian and Shayna will probably have access this fall as well. So we are always here for you. Please feel free to message us whenever you'd like. Just know that if you say like, I forgot to label their lunch nut free, which we'll talk about more in a moment. We are going to see that, and it may not be as quickly as the teachers do. So you just want to make sure that you're sending it in the right group to reach the right people. And then again, when you're trying to reach the teachers, reaching out to them on their personal cell phones is not acceptable. You guys should not be exchanging numbers. If you were to have a current staff member watch your child at any given point, we do have a waiver that both you and that staff member would need to sign. But other than that, all communication should not go through social media or cell phones. It should be through Brightwheel or their work emails. Just keep in mind that, again, their main priority throughout the day is your child. So from 1:30 to 2:30, once the children are down and napping and they've either taken their break or they're back from the, heading out on their break, that's definitely the time you're going to be able to catch the most interaction with the teacher. Brightwheel is this parent portal that we use. For those of you that don't know, we do have iPad minis in all of our classrooms. Many of our teachers do take better pictures on their cell phones because they're a little newer than our iPads, and they will transfer them to the iPad then to be able to send them to you in notes or newsletters. If you are familiar with how we typically do things at this moment, we're sending newsletters daily, and the one-off individual children notes and photos are a little bit more infrequent or rare. We're going to change that up for the out of respect for the teachers and their time, and also not wanting to get like too repetitive with you guys every day. Next year, they will be using some of the their non-student contact time, their planning time, to write one really strong newsletter a week. And then throughout the day, throughout the other days, daily things like that, you'll be getting, whether it's videos or pictures or quotes, little blurbs about each of the specials that they're going to, their photos from the playground. But by the time October rolls around and you've heard all of the great benefits that can exist on the natural playground, you're not going to want to hear it again then all the way from October through next year. And we really don't want the teachers to have to pick up any of that kind of work, either on their breaks or in the evening when they're already home and off their shift. So we're going to switch it up a little bit. If you've got strong feelings either way, if you think it works great and you love it, or you miss daily newsletters, please come and share your opinions with us. It really does matter. Brightwheel is here to keep you involved. It's like a little window into your child's day. Like Kim had mentioned, it's hard to be the one who's not with them for the entirety of their day. But if you take the opportunity to read, to look at these notes, to write back and respond, you'll feel like you're right here alongside them having fun. So please make sure that you stay up to date on all of that information. It takes a lot of effort on behalf of our educators as well. And we want them to know that you're receiving all their hard work also. Specifically for our children who are 2 and under 2, or rather in infant toddler, I should say, you will receive a daily report for your child. That's going to keep you informed of all their needs and activities being met, their learning experiences, and those care events. That includes diapering, if they put on lotion, if they had a BM or they were wet, if they were dry when they were changed, what they ate, how much they ate, if they liked it, all of those kinds of events. And we ask that you actually start us off on the right foot every morning by shooting a message directly to your child's teachers and letting them know how the morning went, what their sleep was like, what their mood's like, how much they ate, how much they drank, when, things like that, so that we know when to pick up that routine for the remainder of the day. Those are all really important. In the 2s, you will receive notices about BMs and lunch, but not snacks and nap and all of those kinds of details. So that's a big transition for some of you who may be leaving our infant toddler program and heading into the transitional 2s or the January 2s in a few months, or even the 2-year-old program right now in August. Oh, you also want to make sure that you've got Brightwheel all set up to be able to sign that your child in and out. Your app does need access to your camera. And all of the authorized pickups that you are going to give permission to pick up or drop off your child also need to have Brightwheel working. Everyone is going to get a 4-digit private code that happens automatically on your phone. However, it is really simple to change that to your birthday, your child's birthday, or 000. Something that you can easily remember, so you're not trying to memorize a new 4-digit code on top of everything else you've got going on in your lives right now. It's important that after you scan your child in, which will either happen in our carpool line or on the back of the iPad when you check in with the teacher to let them know that like, hi, I'm here, here's Sophie, she's yours. And you'll see them and scan it on the back of the iPad. At the end of the day, you'll do that same thing. I'm here to pick up Sophie. How was her day real quickly? Because it's kind of going to be a little bit of a juggle to watch all the other children and touch base with you quickly. But we want to make sure that the teachers are aware of who is coming and going throughout the day. So you want to make contact with them. You're going to scan the barcode on the back of the iPads. And then you're going to enter that private 4-digit code, and you are going to sign your name. If you don't get to the green screen with a check mark, you have not fully signed your child in or out. And licensing does require that we know exactly who picked up and when for every single day or dropped off. So it's important that you're not just sharing your login with, you know, your grandfather because he's coming to pick up. He needs to have his own access code as well. This is our infant toddler supply list. It talks about items that need to be left at school and those that should come in daily with your child. You want to always keep diapers here at school. Diaper cream, you'll have to fill out that basic care form. If your child at any age, even if they're not specifically still an infant toddler, is kind of prone to diaper rashes, it would behoove you now to get a medication administration form filled out by your child's doctor. If there is any kind of rash or redness or irritation on your child's bottom, we are not able to put any diaper cream on, even if it's over the counter and you've already submitted the basic care form. It needs to be something that we have doctor's approval for. Otherwise, we can only use it when it's preventative. And typically once that rash is there is really when they need it most. So you want to just be proactive about that, and that would be great. Wipes, sunscreen, as they get older and go to different playgrounds, the natural playground and the trails and the biblical playground, you want to keep bug spray here. All of these things need to come in their original containers and labeled with your child's name on them. In infant toddler, you want to keep at least one non-perishable food item just to have spares on hand, and at least 3 seasonal sets of changes of clothes. That does not include the sweater or the extra pair of socks or something like that that you may keep just in case they get chilly on a given day, or the hats, things like that. Extra bibs, burp cloths, pacifiers, everything that you send again needs to be labeled. If your child does not sleep without a pacifier, please consider sending extras in, because we would really appreciate that. And an extra crib sheet's always a good idea in case a Monday morning's a busy one for you and you end up leaving it at home. You're going to bring bottles in for each feeding. We do request plastic bottles only. God forbid something were to drop in an infant toddler classroom with the little ones all over the place. We don't want to risk any shards of any glass being left anywhere it shouldn't be. So we try to refrain from using glass bottles. Everything does need to be ready made. If you are using formula, it needs to be pre-mixed. You can't send in the formula and the water in 2 separate things. Our teachers won't be able to mix those per licensing regulations. We will warm all bottles in a crock pot, and in infant toddler, we'll warm food in a microwave. However, once they turn 2 years old, we do not use a microwave anymore. So you'll want to send anything that you want to stay warm in a thermos. All containers need to be labeled with your child's name and the date. That includes the bottle and the lid and any food that you're sending in. As well as toddler silverware, and then anything that from home that you think will make your child feel more comfortable. But please note, we are able to use sleep sacks that do not adhere their arms to their bodies. We are not able to use swaddles, and nothing can go into their crib with them in the infant room, mobile infant room, or toddler, which means a passy can go in, but a wubba-nub can't. So if you've got that pacifier that has a little stuffed animal on it, it's fine to use while they're awake, but it cannot go into the crib with them. Once they are in the emerging twos and sleeping on one of our mini cots, then they're able to use blankets and sheets and loveys and things like that. All of the sheets in all of our age groups are going to come in on Monday morning and then be used for the week and go home on Fridays to be washed. And our preschool list is a little bit similar. If you've got children who are still in diapers and using wipes, you're going to bring enough in so that we've always got backup. Your teachers will let you know when you're running low and we need a replacement. That sunscreen, bug spray, original containers, all labeled, hats, sweatshirts, the changes of clothes. In preschool, there are going to be opportunities, and we'll get to some of the transitions and updates of our COVID policy in a little while. However, I want to make sure that for the children who are 2 and up, you know that there may be opportunities where whether your child is on that masking list or not, we are asking the children to mask because of exposure or something else. So you want to make sure that you've got spare masks here that are going to be well fitting and don't have any adornments on them. So they can't have sequins or stickers or little tchotchkes coming off of them. God forbid one were to fall off, it could really easily be a choking hazard. Especially for those potty training, but also for those potty trained, accidents happen and they're called accidents for a reason. So please make sure we have many pairs of underwear here. And then again, if they're swimming, a bathing suit and a towel, spare sneakers, rain boots, weather-related clothing to keep in their cubby is all really important. If at any point, at any age, your child comes home with something that is not yours and you don't just think it was an accident and want to send it back to school, it may be the nurses. We gladly accept used clothes, donated clothes that are in good condition, because we always are in need of some of those things. And if we send them home with your child because they need to wear them, please wash them and send them back for us so that we have them the next time they or another child may need them. Daily, they're going to want to bring a lunch box with their lunch in it. It does need to be dairy or parve. We are kosher style, so there is no shellfish or any bottom dwellers, no pork, but and we are meat free as well. So you can send in fish or a dairy style lunch. We are completely nut free. That includes material items that are processed in a facility that may also contain nuts. So we really depend on you to read those labels. And if something is not coming in its original packaging where we can read it for ourselves, we ask you to label it as well so that we know you've checked the packaging at home and we know it's nut free. You should not send in any drinks from home in preschool. We are going to serve 1% milk and water at both snack times, breakfast and lunch. And on Fridays, we will serve juice with our challah. We'll have grape juice for our Shabbat celebration. But other than that, we are a juice-free school. So you don't want to send in any drinks from home. We don't use water bottles per licensing regulations because we can't guarantee that there's not any kind of mold or anything growing on the inside. We use child-sized disposable cups and we work on the children's independence. And it's great to see how quickly they can kind of grow in that area with their hand-eye coordination and everything. Again, they can bring in a soft toy that they'd like to keep on their cots during nap time, but outside of a lovey, we are asking that they continue to keep all toys at home. We don't want to lose them. We don't want to spread germs. We don't want children to argue over them. So all toys should be kept at home unless it's a lovey that can stay here for the week. And again, you're going to bring those sheets in on Monday and then bring them home Fridays to wash and bring them back again the following week. Kim, do you want to talk about our food policy? You're muted. You're muted, Kim.
Hi, everybody. So just to let everybody know, Dani did talk a little bit about the food policy, but in addition to what she said about being a nut-safe environment and also a kosher dairy school, which does not allow fish, which does not allow meat, but does allow fish. We do provide morning and afternoon snack for all children in our preschool program. Dani, I'm going to ask this question now since it is related. One question that I got that I was not able to answer is the transitional twos considered preschool when it comes to snack items and lunches?
Yes.
Okay.
So they will get, we will not warm up your food. It needs to all come cut, warm in a thermos, things like that. And we will provide morning and afternoon snack. The only time where transitional twos are, at this point at least, not going to be grouped with preschool is going to be with our COVID policy. And that's because of their ability and experience wearing masks. And again, we'll get to that in a little bit.
Okay, so that means that everybody in our preschool program will be provided with a wonderful morning snack that is always a fresh fruit or vegetable, often paired with a protein-based dip. We'll make, fresh hummus. We'll make dips with, like a vegetable dip or black bean dip, and pair it with fresh fruits and vegetables. Tomorrow, we have watermelon cut up and ready to go. And in the afternoons, we always have more of a mini meal. Like it'll be a cheese and cracker or cereals with milk or chips with salsa, something more substantial to hold them over to dinner. And then the lunch is totally on you. We ask that you provide a lunch, a respectful lunch that is respectful of all of our food policies, or you have the option to order through Chef Dan, and he does deliver directly to the classrooms. And his menus provide different options for the children to get hot lunches. And then most children love pizza. And on Wednesdays, we do Pizza Wednesdays, where it's a fundraiser for our preschool program. Parents usually will send like a fruit or a chip to go along with pizza. So it's an easy day for packed lunches. When Dani was talking about the nut-free policy, you will be shocked at how many products that you wouldn't even think were made in a peanut facility are. So it really is important to read the back of every label and to look in that area where it lists allergens. If you see processed in a facility that also processes peanuts, it cannot come into our school. That includes in the morning when your child's finishing breakfast and they're eating granola bar walking in, or lots mornings I'll see children eating Dunkin' Donuts. Dunkin' Donuts is not a peanut safe environment. We don't bring Dunkin' Donuts into the building for the safety of our students. So just be very aware of that. If you're having difficulty coming up with ideas for your child to eat, we have plenty of suggestions in the handbook, and you can also call us for more. We are here for you.
Wonderful. As I mentioned earlier, our nurses are here from 8 to 1 daily. They will communicate with you all morning if you've got any questions, if they've got questions, comments, concerns, or the teachers do about the way that your child looks or reports feeling or is acting or anything like that. Again, all of the health forms do need to be completed or updated for the children to begin for this school year, unless they were just submitted in June. And throughout the year, if at any point your child gets any updated vaccinations, whether it's because they're at their second birthday and they're up for them, or the second lead test or anything like that, or because they get their final round of their COVID vaccine, please make sure to submit those immediately to the nurse's office. That is something that licensing is very strict about, looking for kids who had just had birthdays and looking for those vaccinations. So please do us a favor and make sure that we're receiving those as soon as you do. And then those emergency cards needed to be filled out completely and thoroughly, including your signature on the back and the doctor's contact information. If God willing, your child does not have any medical needs that needed to be noted by a doctor, the doctor's signature does not need to be there, but their contact information does. That emergency card will give us a permission, if we needed to travel with your child to an emergency room, to call 911 and to be there on your behalf until you're able to get to us. If at any point, and I know it's on one of these slides coming up, but you are called because there is an emergency, whether you see it as an emergency or not, if they are sick, if they're throwing up, if they've had diarrhea 3 times and you are called, your child does need to be picked up immediately. We understand that some people work a little further than others, but if you're not able to get there within a timely fashion, then we will have to proceed down your emergency contact or ask you to reach out to someone else to be there in your place. We have worked very hard over the past couple of years. And again, that transparency and communication within our early learning center has really allowed us to be able to stay open throughout these past 2 years. We take the mitigation of contagious illnesses very seriously, and it really, our COVID experience has opened light to some policies that we've really fine-tuned that existed before, but we've learned a lot about in the meantime, and been able to update. So we take vaccination very seriously. We do not accept any vaccination. Oh goodness, that word where you avoid a vaccination, not a religious exemption. Thank you. So we do not accept religious vaccination exemptions. And if your child is getting vaccinated for the COVID vaccine, please make sure to submit copies of their card once they're all updated and submit them directly to the nurses at nursingservices@jcc.org. They are keeping a running list of our children that are vaccinated, and they're just joining all the other medical forms you send in their files, which are kept under lock and key in the nurse's office. We are frequently cleaning and sanitizing. We have had in the past couple of years specific members of our housekeeping team here at the JCC that are assigned to the ELC throughout the day. They run through as the children are heading out to playgrounds or into specials, and they will clean through classrooms. They are doing door handles, light switches, emptying garbages, wiping down countertops, especially in the kitchen with all the food that's prepared in there. throughout the day. And then of course we have our housekeeping team that's here all night as well, every evening. And so they do a really thorough clean in addition to what they're doing throughout the day when they're able to get in and around the children. And then our teachers are regularly using a mandated bleach solution through MSDE to bleach down highly touched toys, any mouth toys. We have yucky buckets in all of our classroom, and the children will learn that was in someone's mouth, or someone needed to, wash their hands after they touch their nose, and we're going to put it in the yucky bucket. And then they get really excited sometimes to play in the yucky bucket also, and to help the teachers clean those toys. And you should see some of the reenactments that we get to see in dramatic play, because it's what these children are so used to growing up to that we probably did not experience when we were their age. We are always promoting healthy hygiene. Again, we wash our hands immediately upon entering any classroom, when returning from outside, before and after eating, after using the restroom. In the beginning of the year with Healthy Choices, one of the things that they'll learn about is germs and all the ways to prevent the spread of germs, what they are, how long we should wash our hands for, and all of those kinds of things, as well as the importance of covering your sneeze or your cough, and not just covering it with your hands, because where is that going to spread to, but really making sure that you're covering it with your elbow, not touching our faces, things like that. We also want to make sure that our families and all of the members and constituents of our community fully understand and cooperate with our health policy and report all contagious infections, not limited to COVID-19. Anything from pink eye strep, the flu, impetigo, hand, foot, and mouth. There are so many things that travel, especially as young children are building up their immune systems. RSV, things like that, that as immediately as possible, if you find out that your child or someone in your household has either had close contact or been diagnosed with any of these communicable diseases, that you communicate that with Kim and I as efficiently and quickly as possible, because we want to make sure that everybody in our community has all the information that they need to make decisions that make them feel comfortable in their everyday lives and with their children. And we can't communicate that without hearing from you guys first. If your child has any of these symptoms that are listed here, they should not be in school. These are not just COVID symptoms. It's all of the things that are included in our health policy. And one of the biggest reasons why we don't want medication masking how a child may be feeling, or a temperature or something like that, any kind of symptom, is because we want to make sure that when the children are here, they're healthy enough to be here and wanting to participate and able to learn and interact with their friends. And if they're not, then we want them to stay home so that when they are ready to be back at school, we're all here and healthy as well and able to be here for them. If your child is sent home with a fever or vomiting or diarrhea, they must remain home for a full 24 hours. That does not mean if they left at 11, they can come back at 11 tomorrow. That immediately brings you to that next day. And so really, please, we'll see sometimes parents say, the children will say, well, I got medicine this morning, so I didn't throw up until lunchtime. Or like, mommy said she had a meeting in the morning, so she couldn't get me in the morning, but she said she could come in the afternoon. Just really try and be as transparent as possible and on top of these things, again, so that we can minimize the spread of any of these germs as soon as possible. They're able to return to school when they are fever-free, again, for a minimum of 24 hours, no vomiting or diarrhea without the aid of medication. If they have any antibiotics or pink eye or anything like that, they have to be used for a full 24 hours before they return. Frequent coughing, excessive runny noses, all of those things should really be resolved. If some of these symptoms continue, even with a negative COVID test, we may still ask for a doctor's note to ensure that your child is not contagious and that it really is safe for them to be here. So if you know that your child has frequent allergies, it would really behoove you to get a note from the doctor letting us know what that looks like, what they're allergic to, what times of year that may be worse in terms of displaying symptoms and things like that. And we do have some of our own policies that may be different than what some doctors may say. Some doctors we've learned are easy to say if they're fever-free, they can come back with hand, foot, and mouth, but our policy is that every bump that has blistered must be open and dried and scabbed before they are able to return. Some programs allow nits if your child were to get lice. We are a knit-free school. So as long as you thoroughly read and understand our health policies. And we're really looking forward to an incredible year ahead. This is where it's going to be the most different for our families who have been with us, especially those who have been with us for the past 2.5 years through all the different iterations of what our COVID policy has looked like. It is important to note that this is what it looks like today. I also heard after we finalized our policy that the CDC is now looking on furthering reducing their policies and protocols that they're recommending. So there are always like ebbs and flows and changes that may happen with our COVID policy. And we really just appreciate your patience and understanding as we do our very best to make the decisions that make us feel safe and confident in, I mean, first and foremost, for Kim and I to be here every day, for our staff to come in and work so hard for all of the children and for you to want to send your children here. We understand that taking off of work, we're juggling having a child home and trying to get to this meeting on time or something like that can be really challenging. But again, we just want to make sure that we are able to be here when everyone is healthy enough to be here. So we appreciate your understanding as we navigate all of these continued crazy times. At this time, if a member of our program were to test positive for COVID-19, then we will send a formal communication out to all of the families that will let you know if we believe that you or your child may have had primary exposure in the past 48 hours. We would never sacrifice anybody's confidentiality. We refer to an individual. You won't know if it's a teacher or a child or a family member of a child or anything like that. We also are required to report these cases to MSDE, Office of Child Care, our licensing agent, as well as the Maryland Department of Health. So while it won't close our classroom, it is really important that we are able to know what may be keeping your child out of school on any given day. I'm going to go through this kind of quickly because it's getting late and we will get locked in here in 36 minutes. And I know so many of you are either ready for bed or need to get your children down if they have not yet. This will all be in the guide that is coming out tomorrow. And again, this is all where our COVID policy stands today. If your child is displaying any symptoms of COVID-19, regardless of their vaccination status, they may not attend school until those symptoms have cleared up for a minimum of 24 hours without the use of medication. We do recommend that your child is tested for COVID. If they are negative, they can return as soon as they're symptom-free with no fever for a minimum of that 24 hours without medication. Should those symptoms prolong, as I mentioned, we may request that you get a doctor's note that states that they are not contagious before they are able to return to school. Because infant toddler are not able to mask, and that's where we're looping those transitional twos with those children, because we want to be really confident in their ability to mask, or as confident as possible before they're back in school. If they were to have close contact with somebody with suspected or proven tested positive for COVID-19, whether that's at school or outside of school, infant toddler students may test to stay at school. That means that they will need to take a COVID test on day 1 and day 5 following exposure and send our administrative team a photo of the COVID test dated so that we know that you're taking it on day 1 and it's a separate one on day 5. If those symptoms are, even with those negative results to be able to continue to come, if symptoms were to arise within 10 days of exposure, your child would need to receive a negative PCR in order to be able to return. And when we talk about symptoms with COVID-19, it's important to note that it's all of these symptoms that have been discussed over the past 2.5 years, because so many different variants and strands of COVID have really overlapped very much so with the common cold. And we just want to make sure that everybody's safe and healthy. If you have a preschooler, so they are in an official twos class or above, all the way through our K at the J program, they are able to return following this exposure. However, they will need to wear a well-fitting mask anytime they are indoors for 10 days following that last known date of exposure. When we say indoors, that does not account for obviously outdoor play, which is usually about an hour and a half to 2 hours every day. Their rest time for 2 hours in the afternoon, or any of the 3 or maybe 4 times that they are eating, depending on how early they get dropped off and if you bring breakfast. For positive cases in a household, that's this pink section right here. An infant, toddler, or twos child, or transitional twos child, sorry, who has a positive household member and is able to isolate. That means they are not coming in contact with each other at all during that 5-day period where the individual is most contagious, is able to test to stay at school as long as they remain symptom-free. In theory, if God forbid you found out that one of your family members was positive today and they no longer see them again, it will be counted as a one-time exposure, and therefore tomorrow becomes day one, they're no longer with them. So again, they're testing on that day 1 and day 5. In preschool, they're able to mask, if they're completely isolating, they're going to be able to return the following day and mask fully for those 10 days following that last known date of exposure. If you are not able to isolate, then the child must remain home for that 5-day period where the positive individual is quarantining. Following that, we kind of go back to those exposure rules from the last slide, where where the children must receive a negative PCR. This is the only time we're really requesting a PCR versus a home test. So the child must receive a negative PCR on or after day 5 and remain symptom-free in order to come in. And an infant toddler child will need to then do that negative home test once they're able to come back in after day 5. And a preschool child will need to mask for 10 days following that last known date of exposure. If your child, God forbid, were to test positive for COVID, an infant toddler or a transitional 2 child would quarantine for those 5 days, and then they are able to return on or after day 6 once they are testing negative on a home test. You can test every single day. One negative test will allow them to come back. However, if they don't test negative within those 10 days, they may return on day 11. For a child who is 2 or older, they will quarantine for those 5 days, and then they may come back masked for an additional 5. As long as they are symptom-free for that minimum of 24 hours. We did review this medication policy already. It is important to note that any medication coming in, whether it's that over-the-counter diaper cream or Benadryl, or if your child gets fevers and you just want to have Tylenol on hand because you don't want it to get too high while you're on your way here, any of that medication must come in the original packaging with your child's name and whatever tool you're using to give it to them, whether it's a measuring cup or a syringe or anything like that, included. And the form must be filled out by the prescribing physician. It has to be dated. It must note the dosage, time, frequency, and anticipated duration of the treatment, as well as that mode of administration, which you're also sending in with it. They can fax the doctor's form directly to our nurse's fax. The numbers listed here, it's also on that first slide, and it will be in the handbook as well, or you can scan it and send it right to the nurses at nursingservices@jcc.org.
And I just want to add that it really is important for those of you who especially know your child's fever can get very high and you work a half an hour away and it takes you that long to come, that it is terrifying for us when we have a child with 105 fever and we are literally not able to do anything without that piece of paper. So I suggest that everyone just have their doctor fill out a prescription that in case of fever, we do have the ability to give them that Tylenol or Motrin to bring their fevers down quickly.
Absolutely. This goes back to the email that I sent earlier today, talking about access to the ELC. We pride ourselves on having a secure facility. And I understand that when you're in a hurry to get to work, or someone's doing you a favor and bringing your child in and picking them up, and they're met with kind of barriers before they're able to come in and pick up, that it can be really frustrating. I promise it's frustrating for everyone involved, including Kim and I and our security guards. The bottom line is that we are doing this to keep your children safe. And we really hope that, as overwhelming as it may feel, that you will also be able to understand that and support the fact that safety is our #1 priority. All adults must have a valid membership card or access card in order to enter the ELC. For everybody on this call tonight, you receive complimentary membership to the JCC. We hope you take advantage of it and want to go to the gym and come to these family engagement events and get to know Rabbi Ariel. Take advantage of the playgrounds and the fitness center and all of that. However, should you choose not to, if you want to be able to come into the school to pick up or drop off your child, you still need that membership card. All of your information is already in the system. We do have a brand new system. So for the few people that did reach out about what it means for guests if they already had a formal access pass, I'm looking into that, but we are switching, or have just recently switched, from eFinestry to Traction Rec, a Salesforce program. So I just want to make sure that it all carried over appropriately before I give you incorrect information. So stay tuned till tomorrow if you've reached out about that. But all you need to do to go up to get your membership card is to visit the front desk and talk to somebody from membership of the main JCC, not the front desk of the preschool. You'll have your picture taken, you'll bring photo ID, you will be scanned through our registry to make sure that you are a safe person to be allowed within the preschool. And then they will give you your membership key tag that will stay on your keys, and you will swipe in on the railing in our vestibule. When you swipe in your barcode there, the security guard will be able to bring it up, and it will say you're a member in good standing. However, it will also say that you have a reason to be within the ELC, so that we know that you're safe and someone who should be down here. If you are granting access to somebody in your family who is a member already, then you want to let us know so that we can make sure we put that ELC tag on their membership as well. And then if you're granting access for someone to be able to pick up or drop off your child and they are not a member, the first thing they're going to do is go up to, well, you're going to do, or they, if you want to forward it to them, is fill out that link that I sent you today. If at any point you're going to add someone who is not already on that link within the next week, you're going to want to send it directly to Mary Ida and she can input their information. Once their information is in the system, when they go to the front desk of the J and speak to somebody from membership, they'll be able to see them there, scan their ID. They will get one of the stickers that says that they're cleared. They have an access pass basically to the J. They'll take that sticker down here, visit Mary Ida at our front desk, and Mary Ida will essentially sell at no cost, but basically put the barcode in that's going to be on the key tag they will get. It'll look very similar to yours, but instead of a J on it, it'll say Stoller Early Learning Center Access Pass. And they should be able to get that, knock on wood, in the moment without having to wait or check back in or anything like that. But again, this is a new system, so we appreciate your patience and support as we go through it. We do hope that once this is all set up, we won't need to do this again in the future. And every summer and every fall, we won't be talking about troubleshooting ways to make something work. And again, the bottom line is the security of all our families and the children here. We also talked about checking in on Brightwheel already, so I am going to jump over this. Kim, do you want to talk about our drop-off and pickup procedures?
Sure. So our morning starts at 7:30 for those of you in infant toddler or who have chosen that early time for your day to begin. You can walk in your children into the building anytime between 7:30 and 8:45. At 8:45, we do cut that off because of preparing for our carpool. So if you're unable to arrive before 8:45 and you do want to walk your child in, you will have to wait until after the security guard is through with carpool and back at their desk before we are able to allow you in. Our carpool will run from, is it one here, Jan? From 8.
No, the carpool slide's the next one. This was just
okay.
the building.
Okay. Midday from 9:10 to 11:40, or from 3 o'clock to 3:20. What, 9 o'clock? Dan, help me out. I don't know what that means.
In the morning, you can enter the school from 7:30 to 8:45. Then we will close down that time to enter the school because our security guard and our staff are going to be getting ready to start carpool. Carpool will run, I think we just said 8:50 to 9:05. And then our security guard will need time to block off the cones, make sure the last of the cars have left that loop. And you may not enter until they are back at their desk. They will be back at their desk at 9:10. And you're able to enter the ELC until 11:40. We don't take late drop-offs after 11:45, as we mentioned earlier, which is why that 11:40 time is there. If you were picking up early, you are able to enter the school later than that. We do request that you don't pick up between 1 and 3 while the children are napping. And then when they wake up from 3 to 3:20, you're able to enter the ELC again. You can do your dismissal in the school if you'd like. However, at 3:20, we will cut off that time and carpool will run from 3:25 to 3:40. And at that time, anybody enrolled in 3:30 is considered late. So if you want to enter the school, it must be between 3 and 3:20. And then if not, you want to be in that carpool line before we end at 3:40. Once the guard is back in their desk at 3:45, then it's all fair game until the end of the day.
You're gonna remember that you need to check your child in on Brightwheel. The counselor, I have to get out of cat mode. The teachers will be waiting for you with the barcode on the back of their iPads. You'll want to do your goodbye routine at the door. We are taking every precaution and still saying parents are not allowed into the classroom just to prevent more exposure than necessary. The teachers will be the ones to bring them into the classroom and unpack their belongings and wash their hands and get them ready for the fun day ahead. Please know that it is not a good time to talk to teachers during drop-off or dismissal. I know that your questions are important, but their number one priority is the safety and security of all of those children. If their attention is on an adult, they are really not focused on the children and they come first. Please reach out through Brightwheel or email. Whatever you have to say is extremely important, and we'll make sure the teacher can address your concerns when they are not responsible for the safety of other children. During morning carpool, it will start at 8:50 and it will run to 9:05. You will come up the JCC to almost the top circle, but before you hit that top main circle, you're going to make a left. We have 2 lanes of carpool that head towards our preschool circle, and you will get one of those 2 lanes. It follows the fence along our natural playground. You're going to pull up as far as possible. Do not exit your car until one of the team members approaches you, because we're constantly moving up the cars as children get out. So you might be the 3rd car back and you think, okay, I can get out now, my child's going to be taken, but those other 2 cars in front of you will pull up and we'll ask you to pull up. So do not get out until we approach the car. There, we'll provide you with the barcode. You will scan it in. We'll make sure that your child is signed into school, and your child's teacher, assistant, or floater will walk them to class. It is definitely the easiest way for you to drop your children off and to pick them up if these times work for you. And it is definitely easier for a child to say a quick goodbye in carpool than it is when a parent walks them into the classroom. It is sometimes more of a struggle, especially during that transition of coming back to school. Please, as soon as the child gets out of the car, move on so we can keep our carpool moving, but always be aware that children are walking and that sometimes you can't see them. So you want to make sure you check your mirrors and look closely in front of you and behind you before you move during that time. Infant toddler families will park to the right of the ELC entrance. There is 15-minute parking right there. You are able to walk your child directly to their outside door whenever you arrive. You don't have any time restraints because your program doesn't give you that option. You're here with us from 7:30 to 5:30 and may use those hours as you see fit. So as long as you arrive prior to 9:05, you may walk them to the back entrance. After 9:05, you will walk into after, I guess, 9:10, when the security guard, which is their desk, you will walk into the classroom at that point. Walk into the school and deliver them to the front classroom door, if that makes sense. Afternoon carpool will start at 3:25 and run to 3:40. What we do is provide you with a carpool number that one of us will be collecting when we head outside in the afternoon. You will show us that number. That number is related to a child's name on our loudspeaker. We'll tell that child it's time to come up front, and we will bring them to the car. Please remain at your vehicle until we bring the child out to you. When parents get out of the car, children tend to run to them as quickly as possible. They're crossing streets and it's just not a safe scene. So remain in your car. We will walk the child over to you. Then you will come get out of the car and greet your child. Know that we do not buckle your child into the car seat. It's strictly because of safety issues. Car seats are all different. We want to make sure that your child is safe and secure in their seat. So we will ask that you do that before leaving. And again, just a reminder that it's not a time to communicate with a child's teacher. It's very easy for a teacher to get caught up in conversation, which then holds up the whole carpool procedure. So if I'm out there saying, hi, you want to call later? It's not being rude. It's just me trying to be efficient and get the carpool going. We do really want to hear from you, and I'm sure the teacher wants to share with you, but it's just not the appropriate time.
One question that somebody had that, again, is on par with this conversation right now is when you'll receive your carpool number. We will be giving them out in the first couple of days of school and at any time after that when you get started if you don't receive it sooner. We will have them with us at carpool in the lobby the first morning and out at carpool for the first couple of days. And we are happy to grab it for you whenever you need. If for whatever reason, we give it to one parent in the morning and another parent is picking up, they can obviously let us know who your child is. It is not the secure feature that we need to sign them out. That is Brightwheel. What we need it for is just for the organization of making sure that the right children are coming up at the right time when their parents are in the carpool lane. Again, we've talked about this a couple of times, the structure and routine and predictability that's really imperative for the children. And it's really on us to uphold that for them. We talk a lot throughout our day and really in our dialogue regularly about like the life of a child and that like kind of hurry up and wait mentality. Like they are at our, on the line of our schedules at all times. And, we want them to play and then we want them to go to a special. We want them to rest at home and then they need to get up, put their shoes on quickly and then get out the door to get here or to Target or wherever your errands are taking you. We really owe them, I think, that consistency and structure so that we can set them up for the right notes for the remainder of the day. They have the opportunity to talk about their plans for the day. They get to explore. And if they're coming in, even if it's 9:30 and they don't have a special until 10:30 that day, if they walk in as the children in the class are cleaning up, they're then being asked to clean somebody else's mess and they didn't get a chance to play with something. And they've been thinking since they left at 3:30 yesterday that they were waiting to come back in and build something special with the Magna tiles. And while we know they'll have centers later, for them, it means a lot that they didn't have that opportunity in the morning. So we just want to make sure that we set them up for the most amount of success possible. Again, if you have to be later than 9:10 on a given morning, please know that if you were to arrive after 11:45 a.m., we ask that your children do not come to school. At that point, they'd be coming in to transition to lunch and then transition to the bathroom, a quiet time, and then nap. And that's really not setting them up for success. Even children who typically nap, that would throw their entire day off and it becomes a really big challenge. If for whatever reason you're picking up during nap time, we do ask that you communicate that with us in advance so that we know and can let the security guard know that it's okay that you're coming in between 1 and 3. And again, if you are late, regardless of what your scheduled pickup time is, if you are late, that is a $2 a minute fee. And it can also really stress your child out. So if for whatever reason you or whoever is picking up that day is running late, please shoot us a message in Brightwheel or give us a call. We just want to be able to prepare your child so that they know what to expect. The same goes if like someone different is picking them up or something like that. And if it becomes a habit that is happening too frequently, we do reserve the right to raise that late fee. And last but not least, if you couldn't recognize it, this picture of the loose parts with all the corks is me. I made that at a conference and that picture has gone viral. If you look up loose parts, it's on everybody's blog. The loose parts are open-ended materials that really allow for a lot of creativity and imagination and inspired dialogue between children and can be so many different things. The one kind of catch-all I go to regularly is if you're playing in the Dramatic Play Center and you pull out a plastic hamburger, that plastic hamburger will always be a plastic hamburger. But if you had a wood cookie, a slice of a tree, or a cork trivet that you can see in one of the pictures, it could be a burger one day and it could be a pita for falafel the next. And then I can bring it over into the art center and it can be my inspiration to make a spaceship. And then it may be my inspiration to make an abstract picture with all these different circles in it. And maybe it's going to be a hat another time. The point is that the possibilities are endless. And these are the kinds of materials that we love to have in our classroom. They are also typically they're more natural colored, they're recycled or upcycled materials. And we really want you to help us gather some of these materials. So if you have any of these kinds of things at home and you are able to bring them in, anything that you've got a little bit of a collection of, buttons, seashells, you can see there are curlers in one of these photos. We just went through our puzzles today and collected all the puzzles that were missing pieces that would ordinarily have been thrown out and threw all the puzzles into a loose parts bin. And it really excites us to see about where the the children can take them throughout the year. So that's kind of our little plea. We don't ask for a supply list, but we love your recycled and upcycled materials,
The top
especially
tier,
natural ones.
yeah, the top tier soda bottles, top tier water bottles, the top to those
Pouches.
yogurt and pouches, that all of those become whatever a child imagines, and they are the most incredible inspiration in a classroom. It really is special.
Absolutely. Somebody asked, and I think I've done a pretty good job of catching all the one-off questions and answering them, at least the ones that I've gotten. And Kim, you can tell me if you've gotten some others. But somebody asked if you can sit in the lobby around our security guard on the first few days since it's your first time. I do not suggest that. Not only will it upset your child if they see you, it will upset every other child who sees you. And because we have such an incredible campus, our classes are constantly on the move. They do not spend like the bulk of their morning in their classroom or something like that. And you want to make sure that they are free to travel to different rooms, to different classrooms, to the gym and back again without the fear of your child or another child seeing you and getting set off. It's really important that we show them, again, that we trust them and that you trust the school to be able to provide just as much love and support as you would if you were able to be there with them.
Feel free to go upstairs and hang out by the pool or sit somewhere else if you're not comfortable completely leaving the building, or sit in your car. We will send you pictures. You can reach out to Dani or I will go in when Zoom on FaceTime to let you see that your child is fine if that's what you need to feel comfortable.
But they won't know that. Your children won't know you're there.
No, but your children won't know that. But we will do whatever you need. But we need you to be confident in us, and we need you to show your child that you're confident in us. That's the way they'll feel most secure. Dani, I did get one question that I was not able to answer. Everything else has been taken care of. But when will these families know their child's classroom and what students they will be with?
What a great question. I want to touch on 2 points. One is questioning what students they will be in. Just like Kim talked about how often separation anxiety can really stem from the parents, and it's going to be harder on you than it is on your child. The children are so resilient. And at this age, making friends is such an incredible gift that we can give them, the time and the space and the setup to make new friends.
Understand that they can go into a situation not knowing anyone and feel comfortable. This is when we develop those things in children. As adults, a lot of people have a difficult time walking in somewhere by themselves or going somewhere to do something social where they don't know anything. And it all starts at this young age, and just teaching children that it's okay to go up to someone and say, hi, you want to play? And all children need are other people their size and lots of loose parts to just motivate. Parents oftentimes will, well, they don't know anyone in the class. Guess what? Within 2 days, they're going to have a new best friend. And they get to keep the friends that they had in their last class because we do so many community events. So it's really us, our own anxieties, our own fears that we sort of put on our children when it's not actually the way they're feeling. And it's so hard as a parent. You think you're doing the best thing, but just take a moment to self-reflect and think, is this what I'm feeling or is this what my child's feeling? And we're here to discuss all that with you. It's definitely a learning process.
Absolutely. And then in regards to when you will actually receive it, I am hoping by Friday. And then I also wanted to let you know that Kim and I will actually be leaving Maryland on Sunday, very, very early in the morning, and out of town until late on Tuesday for a professional paradigm conference. And we're very excited, but because we're talking about sending something big out like that on Friday, I just wanted to give you the heads up that following that, we won't be back in the office again until Wednesday.
But we'll be bringing back best practices and so many new ideas and inspirations.
And excitement for the upcoming school year.
Yes.
One of the parents said that camp was their first time sending their child, and orientation really shifted their mindset to make them more comfortable with trying something like carpool. And they truly believe that it was the absolute best decision they could have made. So if those are your hours and you're a little bit hesitant, it's certainly worth giving it a try. And again,
does that child start with the letter S?
What?
Does that child start with the letter S?
It does.
You know exactly who it is. And that child is doing fabulous.
You should also tell your sister-in-law
Right.
about how much you love carpool. How many children are in one class at a time? That's a great question. In infant toddler, our ratio is 1 to 3 with a maximum of 6 children in a class until you hit our emerging 1 years old. We are licensed to be able to go up to 9 children in a class with 3 adults. Our toddler class is still a 2 to 6, but our emerging 2s class is a 1 to 3 with a max of 9 children in that class. Our transitional 2s, January 2s, and our 2-year-old classrooms are all 1 to 6 with a maximum of 12 children in the class until maybe that oldest class starts to have all those children turn with our fall birthdays. Once they've all turned 3, we are able to start going towards 3-year-old ratios. And then in a 3 and 4-year-old class, it is a maximum of a ratio of 1 to 10 with a max of 20. We will never hit 20 children. That's just what licensing says. Kindergarten does not have a ratio because it's a private school and we're able to make our own. There are currently 18 children signed up for that class with quite a big wait list. So that's what we're looking at for the kindergarten school year. Yes, I am so sorry. When I send out classes, there will be a link to RSVP for this pool party. I just got a draft of the invitation today, so I will make sure that any edits that need to happen are made, and then we'll send it out with everything later this week.
And we should mention that if the weather holds out tomorrow, Rabbi Ariel will be hosting a J Life, did I say that right? A J Life event,
Yes.
which is going to celebrate a wonderful holiday. Would you like to tell us a drop more about that?
Yes, we will be celebrating Tu B'Av, which is the holiday of love. And what better way to come together than about love?
And bringing the summer to an end and everyone just enjoying camp and loving camp so much. So fingers crossed that the weather holds out. It will be on our natural playground and it really is a special place for everyone just to explore.
Well, it'll be on the biblical playground.
I always say the wrong playground. That's what I meant. That's what I pictured.
Another great place to explore.
Exactly.
A wonderful space to explore.
It's my favorite.
Do you have any other questions on your end, Kim?
I don't. And I was thinking this whole time, like, this is the least amount of questions we've ever received, but I didn't know you were getting questions on your side too. So I have answered everything else. Everyone seems really excited. I know I am. I love the beginning of every school year. And I am ready for a fresh 2022-23 school year. And I am grateful to be a part of your child's journey. And thank you so much for attending. This meeting is always lengthy, but it's jam-packed with important information. And most of you survived for the whole 2 hours.
I echo everything that you shared, and I am so looking forward to seeing all of you or getting to meet you in person and all of your little ones. We just can't wait to see all the fun and excitement that's in store for the upcoming school year. We hope you have a wonderful night. We appreciate your patience and sticking on this call with us for some technology errors and almost a full 2 hours. For any friends or family members that may reach out and ask what happened, let them know that there were a lot of errors and you were troopers and stuck through, and we will get it up on a private YouTube link that will be sent out later this week. Thank you so much and have a wonderful, wonderful night.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.